quick. It's going to be short time in the ring. I want my Domino's pizza. I've been dieting for too long now. I want to get a Domino's.
The moment Arrogance enters a fight, it quietly rewrites the ending. Long before the punch is thrown, long before the referee steps in, the outcome begins to tilt. Combat sports have a cruel way of punishing excess confidence, and time after time, history reminds us that bravado without substance is a debt that always gets collected. This is the story of fighters who talk too much, pose too long, and believe their own hype, only to be violently reminded that the ring, the cage, and the canvas do not care about confidence. They only care about consequences. The long-awaited celebrity boxing match between rapper Deji Ara, better known as DTG, and X Factor winner Miles Stevenson, known to fans as Roxu, had all the ingredients of a spectacle. The build-up was loud, theatrical, and relentless. Roxu embraced the spotlight like it was custom-built for him, mocking DTG at every opportunity, leaning into the cameras, raising his voice, and promising an easy night's work. In interviews, he didn't just predict victory. He dismissed the fight itself as a formality. He spoke about folding DTG like a deck chair, joked about how short the night would be, and even talked about ordering a Domino's pizza immediately after, as if the fight was nothing more than an inconvenient delay to dinner. Every word dripped with certainty. Every sentence suggested that the outcome was already written. DTG, by contrast, said less. He listened more. And when the opening bell finally rang, the difference in approaches became immediately visible. Roxu came out fast, aggressive, and assertive, using his clear advantages in height, reach, and overall size. His jabs snapped forward as he tried to control the distance, stepping into the center of the ring like a man determined to validate everything he had promised. For a brief moment, it looked like his confidence might be justified. He pressed forward, dictated the pace, and tried to overwhelm DTG with presence alone. But confidence burns fuel, and Roxu had spent a lot of it before the fight even began. As the first round continued, something began to shift. The sharpness in Roxu's punches faded faster than expected. His footwork slowed. His guard began to sag. The man who had promised a quick night suddenly looked like someone trying to survive one. DTG, calm and observant, noticed everything. He didn't rush. He didn't panic. He waited. Every dropped hand, every labored breath, every mistimed step was stored away like a note in a ledger. Then came the opening. DTG stepped in and delivered a clean, precise shot that caught Roxu perfectly. In an instant, all the trash talk evaporated. Roxu tumbled to the canvas, his body language completely transformed. The swagger was gone. The certainty was gone. What remained was shock, fatigue, and the realization that confidence alone does not protect your chin. Though Roxu managed to get back to his feet, the damage was already done, not just physically, but mentally. His movements were sluggish, his posture uncertain, and his eyes betrayed the fatigue that refused to leave. As the fight wore on, DTG took full control. He boxed with fundamentals, understanding how to conserve energy, how to pick shots, and how to let Roxu exhaust himself further. By the later rounds, it wasn't competitive anymore. DTG dictated the pace, landed clean combinations, and punished Roxu whenever he tried to muster resistance. Every punch felt like a response to something Roxu had said during the build-up. Eventually, the corner had seen enough. The fight was stopped, and the man who promised pizza and a quick exit was left sitting in silence, forced to replay every cocky word he'd thrown out before the bell. The lesson was clear. Talk doesn't carry oxygen into the later rounds. That same lesson echoed loudly at Octagon 42 in Bratislava, where middleweights Vlasto Čepo and Ion Taburceanu collided in a high-stakes clash. Čepo, known for his explosive knockout power, entered the fight with a reputation built on violence. Tabercanu, a relentless grappler from Moldova, brought pressure, confidence, and an attitude that bordered on outright arrogance. Throughout the build-up, he mocked Čepo openly, dismissing his power and showing visible disrespect. To Tabercanu, this wasn't just a fight, It was a stage to embarrass his opponent. When the fight began, it looked like Tabercanu might be right. He pushed forward aggressively, forcing grappling exchanges and controlling large portions of the opening round. Čepo absorbed punishment, and a brutal cut opened on his face, so severe that many believed the referee might stop the fight altogether. Blood poured, and the bell ending the round felt like a lifeline. As both fighters returned to their corners, the reality set in for Čepo. If the fight continued like this, it wouldn't matter how tough he was. The doctor would end it. So he made a decision. The second round was not about patience. It was about survival. Čepo came out composed but desperate, knowing that every second mattered. Despite absorbing more shots, he stayed focused, waiting for his moment. And when it came, it was devastating. Čepo landed clean punches that shifted momentum, forcing Tabercanu into unfamiliar territory. Then, with precision and raw force, he slammed Tabercanu's head into the canvas. The fight ended instantly. The arrogance vanished just as quickly as it had formed. The mocking smiles were gone, replaced by silence and disbelief. Confidence had once again been punished, not with words, but with gravity. At Glory 100 in June 2025, another story unfolded, this time drenched in tension and bad blood. Bahram Rajadzadeh stepped into the ring against Mory Kromah, but instead of letting skill do the talking, Rajadzadeh brought excessive aggression. From the opening moments, his behavior drew the referee's attention. Warnings piled up as he threw illegal knees, ignored instructions, and pushed the boundaries of what officials would tolerate. The crowd turned on him quickly. What should have been controlled dominance became reckless hostility. When the fight restarted after repeated fouls, the atmosphere changed. This wasn't just about winning anymore. It was personal. Every exchange carried the weight of resentment. Rajadzadeh continued to fight with emotion rather than discipline, and that emotional chaos opened the door for disaster. Kromah, calm and calculated, waited for the mistake. And when Rajadzadeh left himself exposed, Kromah launched a perfectly timed flying knee that cut through the air and crashed into its target. Rajadzadeh fell hard, his aggression finally turning against him. In one violent moment, all the warnings, all the dirty tactics, and all the unchecked confidence came back to collect. Years earlier, at Road FC 53 on May 18, 2019, the lightweight division witnessed one of the most ruthless examples of composure dismantling arrogance. Mansour Barnawi faced Quan in a highly anticipated bout. Quan returned from a long hiatus to defend his title and brought chaos with him. During fight week, he sparked physical altercations at the press conference, attempting to intimidate Barnawi through aggression and theatrics. Cameras caught every shove, every glare, every attempt to dominate psychologically. Barnawi never reacted. He stayed calm, unreadable, and disciplined. When the fight began, Quan's bravado collapsed almost immediately. Barnawi applied relentless pressure, landing clean shots, dragging the fight into uncomfortable positions, and systematically dismantling his opponent. Quan was knocked down, controlled on the ground, and overwhelmed by precision. Barnawi moved methodically, passing guard, taking mount, and threatening submissions with patience that felt surgical. When the choke was finally sunk in, there was no panic, only inevitability. Quan tapped in the first round, and Barnawi claimed the championship belt. The message was unmistakable. Intimidation without execution is useless. Perhaps the most brutal reminder came in 2015 at SFL 43 in India, when Jason Solomon faced Amitesh Chaubey. Solomon entered the arena radiating arrogance, playing to the crowd, gesturing, posturing, and treating the fight like a coronation rather than a contest. His opponent, an amateur fighter, received none of the attention, none of the respect. 9 seconds. That's all it took. Chaubey landed a clean, perfectly timed shot that detonated on Solomon's jaw. Solomon collapsed instantly, the arena falling silent as the referee stepped in. The fight was over before it had begun. The swagger died mid-stride. The belt changed hands. And one of the most humiliating knockouts in the league's history was etched into memory. These moments are not accidents. They are patterns. Combat sports do not reward arrogance. They tolerate it briefly, sometimes even encourage it for promotion, but eventually they punish it. Confidence is a weapon when paired with preparation, discipline, and humility. Without those things, it becomes a liability. Every fighter featured here learned that lesson the hard way, under bright lights, with no escape and no excuses. So the next time you hear someone promise an easy night, mock their opponent, or act like the outcome is already decided, remember these stories. Remember how fast momentum can shift. Remember how unforgiving the canvas can be. Because in fighting, the loudest voices often fall the hardest. If you enjoyed this breakdown, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth fight stories like this. Let me know in the comments which knockout shocked you the most, and which cocky fighter you think paid the highest price. And tell me who you want to see featured in the next episode, because there's no shortage of confidence waiting to be tested.